The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
The whole time I was muted. Anyway, the amateurs are in charge tonight, and it really, really shows.
I'm not in charge of anything.
I know.
Hand-free, bro. Hand-free.
You think I did this for how many years did I run that other one? Of course, that was using that microphone that's now way over there. I ought to put it back in its box. I so rarely use it.
When you're running the channel and doing it yourself, your computer felt empowered, entitled, and bug-free. Now it identifies as a glitch machine.
And it was a Mac. So yeah, for reasons I don't understand, Windows said, well, first it was the browser saying, hey, I'm going to put this over here so I'm looking at you while I'm talking to you, at least at the moment, and said, hey, you don't have a microphone.
Yeah.
And so I went to Windows, and Windows said, you don't have a microphone. So I rebooted. This was about 5 minutes to 9, 5 minutes before the hour. So I rebooted. Windows said, oh, yeah, you do have a microphone. StreamYard said you don't have a microphone. So I rebooted to Linux. Linux said, oh, yeah, you have a microphone. And StreamYard said, we think you have a microphone, but you got to enable it. So I did eventually. And that's when you looked like you were doing something, but what I didn't realize is because I didn't add you, you couldn't respond. And I saw I can hear you just as I was going and closing the browser. So I apologize for that. Yeah. So then when I came back.
There's a weird part where the audio kicks in at the last minute. Yeah. Which is weird, but normally you can't hear what's going on in the background. It's a glitch all around, I know.
So then I rebooted to Windows again, and Windows said, oh, yeah, you sure you do have a microphone? And StreamYard just worked like it normally does. So
glitchy, but it works.
Yeah. As normal as it can on Windows 11 and Firefox, I guess. But yeah, it was crazy. Because at first I was testing because I don't know. Well, now my camera can't focus, but I don't know why. It's weird. But my microphone, I don't always have it on. And sometimes I don't push it in all the way, and I think I do. I mean, I was disconnecting this. I was, testing because I have a cable that has to come out the back. And then here we have someone popping in. That's kind of weird that it makes my camera do it. Hey, man, I'm just giving my woes of what's going on and why I'm so late and all the microphone issues I was having. But hey, we're here now. I have no idea what we're talking about, but hey.
I know what he's talking about because I've had issues, and I've just found out that the audio is cut. It is that Rumble and BitChute are all aware that there are audio issues, streams not ending issues. Oh, man.
Is that why it says live for 4 hours already.
What gets me is that, nobody else has issues, and Anime Night is frozen mid heart attack.
He's goofing. Yeah. He's still
He's
moving. His hands are still moving.
Have
Have you ever seen them?
I used to sit very still, but age and stress and everything kind of fried my nerves a little bit.
What was that
couldn't
TV
tell.
show? What was that TV show back in the early '80s? From the Files of Police Squad or something like that, where that's how they would do. They would he'd be pouring a cup of coffee and then they'd all freeze, and of course they're not. It's because that was kind of the running joke,
gag.
right? Shows would end with a freeze cut, and then they would freeze, but they really weren't. And so the coffee would keep pouring and it would just pour out of the cup, or whatever they were doing would continue on.
Yeah.
But they would stop mid laugh. Ha ha ha. I think it was. I mean, that was.
Yeah, that was an amazing. Leslie Nielsen could actually freeze his laugh.
Yeah. Oh, he was a good actor. He was a really good actor.
And people
see, that's what
remember
made.
He's Canadian, and whatever.
But that's what made Airplane work, is because he had years of serious dramas, right? And then he was kind of the straight man in Airplane, and
and since
yes, I'm serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Yeah, that's it. He made the leap to comedy by being the straight man.
Yeah. And then Police Squad, it was Police Squad, wasn't it? Because it was a TV show. It was very short-lived.
Police Squad, yes.
And then it came back, how many years later? 5 or 6, and that was the Naked Gun movies.
Yes. Now, the thing is, from a technical standpoint, they were all financial flops.
Mm-hmm.
But from a critical and, I suppose, they became a commercial success long afterwards. Okay? But that was back then when studios could carry such losses and knew that over time, even the worst thinkers became profitable. Right?
Oh, it was just one, not even a full season.
Yeah.
So,
but
Police
they
Squad
later regretted canceling that because it became a huge hit with Netflix and others.
Yeah.
And they wished they had... but the thing is, they were always running late. They were struggling.
Yeah.
Because the problem is with parodies and comedies, a lot of the time they were, big on the pitch.
Right.
But when it came halfway through the season, they were out of material. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and part of it, I don't think people fully understood it. Because, 82... I have to look at that. It was 6 years later. Let me see when those aired. See if we had a TV. Because I remember watching them on VHS years later, right? When I was in high school. Not like lots of years later, but like a couple of years later when we were in Germany. And so March of 82, we didn't have a TV. Because we got it at Christmas of 82. We got a television. We had one and it broke, and then my dad finally broke down. And that was back in the days, man, TVs were serious investments.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got one in Christmas. So when Knight Rider and some other stuff came out, I was able to watch that. And then in 83, we went to Germany and had to get a whole nother television because the current was different. And it wasn't, we had a PAL / NTSC television. You could switch it. But, But
for a long time to use video recorders, you had to have a switcher because all the VHSs were originally, you either had to get if you wanted to, you could get a Betamax because they were PAL. But to use NTSC, to use a VHS, you need a switcher. Because
they didn't make
was American.
They didn't make a PAL version of VHS? Or do you mean the tapes themselves were all? Okay.
They eventually did.
Okay.
Because Beta was going out. Beta was a better system, higher resolution, longer lasting tapes, but they were just nobody was willing to pay the extra few bucks for a tape.
And I think it was shorter. I think you could get. I don't think you can get 2 hours.
They fixed the issues. They could record for 3 hours.
Okay. Because I remember some neighbors of ours. We lived at Fort Ritchie.
It's the thing that most people don't know.
They had something.
All the original American shows were recorded in Betamax format and replayed in converter.
Well, and a lot of them were in, because a friend of mine had some stuff that was a lot of broadcast stuff was also in, was it 1.5 inch? It was a bigger tape. It looked like a VHS tape, but it was like 30.
Yeah, it was
bigger.
Betamax. It was the original Betamax. To fix the Betamax recording issues, they changed the tape size because they were too bulky. They actually shrunk the tape.
Yeah.
But by the time they did that and fixed the issues, it was already too late. Companies had started making VHS machines.
Well, let me ask you this, Anime Night. Do you remember, and I want to say it was DVDs, but it may not have been DVDs, when they were country locked? You had country codes.
You mean
CDs.
Region locks. Yeah.
The first DVDs were region locked, yes, but they got that from. That was actually something they were trying to create with music, and they couldn't because there were too many machines out there.
Oops. Sorry, man, I clicked just as you did.
What is up, everybody? How are y'all doing?
You're interrupting the show. What do you want?
To deal with the microphone situations.
Windows.
Y'all don't hear that?
Nope. I don't hear
David,
anything.
you sound... wait. Y'all talk one at a time. Say hello.
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 Dang, do I sound bad?
Mm-mm.
You guys sound like y'all are muffled as can be.
Now, Anime just did, but he was probably over pushing the mic.
Y'all sound like you need to unplug and replug.
No, you sound fine.
I don't think you do. I'm pulling up the live stream to see if it is coming through. It sounds rough. Huh. You guys talk for a second.
Well, anyway, we were talking about region lock DVDs.
Region lock DVDs, yes.
Yeah, those things were a pain.
Used to have to get software decoders and all sorts of things, and
they go like to the nearest store just to make it work, and it's like, and then they still stare at you like you're dumb and everything.
Remember the first couple of months of Blockbuster with all the mix-ups and mayhem because Blockbuster to go worldwide would have region-free DVDs and mayhem because
that sounds fine.
Because Blockbuster to go worldwide would have region-free DVDs. And the big companies didn't like that.
I'm gonna reboot. Maybe it's me because I don't hear it on the live stream.
I had to reboot 4 times to get my microphone to work. Maybe it's a Windows update. And I remember too, people would get region-free DVD players, and then you would get some movies would be like doubly locked. They would detect that you had a region-free DVD player and wouldn't play. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I forget how they did that, but somebody came up with a solution because a lot of they had this thing called Universal DVD. That is, your PC.
Mm-hmm.
You get a Universal DVD for your PC or PlayStation, and a lot of PlayStations, and you can play it through that. And it was really weird at the time.
Yeah.
But eventually, because they're making so many, eventually consumer groups started suing because they're making it impossible, right? You couldn't buy it. You couldn't import. You couldn't do this. You couldn't do it. It was such a mess of what you can and can't do. And again, it's like X trying to tell you how to use X. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Eventually,
Yeah.
people say, "No, bro, we're sick of you telling us what movies we can and can't watch."
Does it sound better now?
Yeah, it's a lot better. I think my headphones were having an issue.
Huh.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Well, and David was talking about the different problems that we have, like the streaming. It's like this thing says we've been live for 4 hours and 15 minutes. So
Which one?
Yeah.
the live that I see in the upper left corner, all I hit was
Really?
go live. Yeah.
Mine just says 15 minutes.
It's that.
Huh.
Yeah, mine says 15.
Yeah.
Mine's got 4:45:50. 4:15:55, 56,
That's weird.
57, and one.
Because y'all definitely went live late. I was like, what in the world?
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
you-
Well, I was having problems. I had to reboot 4 times to get my headphones to work properly.
For shame.
I mean, it was my microphone. Windows was like, I don't see a microphone. I'm like, and then I'm unplugging everything. I reboot, and then it said, okay, I see a Realtek, and then StreamYard said, I still don't see a microphone. So I booted to Linux, and it sort of started to work. And so I rebooted back to Windows, and then it started working.
Mm-mm.
So anyway, I know it's sad. I'm running Windows these days.
Yeah, well, it happens. One of these days you'll get a decent computer.
And even today, twice, my wife's like, "Oh, we're not leaving. You can't get off work early. We're not leaving today." And I'm like, "We talked about this last night. We're not leaving until Saturday again." And which is good because stuff came up and I had things to do and some things. And then she and her sister went to Boone for half the day, so they wouldn't have been able to do that if I'd taken half a day off to get things to wear to this wedding. So
Nice.
going to cut my nephew's wedding tomorrow. So
Well, that's cool. Let's see. I guess I can't see X's lives anymore.
oh, well, David, you were talking about you had to re-authenticate or something.
Yeah, every few days it keeps asking me to re-authenticate my email and prove that I'm not a robot. So, you know.
Oh, gotcha.
X and its stupid obsession with controlling how users use X, you know?
Yeah.
So why can't I see X stuff anymore? It says I'm live, but I can't see that there's anything like any viewers. That's weird. I noticed that StreamYard said there was a problem with X earlier. When I brought up the thing, it was like, "Oh, your X is having an issue at the moment."
Yeah.
So, oh well.
XAI could acquire X in a stock deal, which will terminate Elon's debts and transfer them to a new company at a cheaper. Save $12 billion or something, you know, in a stock deal or something, because XAI is increasing in value exponentially, basically, and X is only slowly increasing, so they want to combine them.
Yeah.
But I don't see the monetization. But see, the thing is, the monetization isn't for you and I. XAI is for like big corporations.
Oh yeah, I looked at that yesterday. $5,000 a year or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, no, thank you.
But XAI is basically powered by Grok, and they're trying to use they're trying to create an AI customer service bot, and it's like, yeah,
Geez, breathe harder, Lake.
Sorry.
he's hoping that they're going to race swap Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Oh.
I want to get technical. They race swapped him in the first movie because it's a Scottish
But once they
dude
do
in a
it, they
helmet.
don't do. You know the rules. Once they race swap, they won't go back.
Go black, you never go back.
That's what she said.
With a black eye and a kid, that's what she said as a single mum with a black eye.
Yeah, I saw one of those tonight.
Yeah.
Single mom, black eye, black kid. You know.
And
Good
they're always
times.
complaining they can't, and then they're saying how they're ready to settle down and they can't find a decent guy, like.
Oh yeah, I guess. So, what's been going on this week that we need to talk about? What is crazy? What's been going on? I've been doing a lot of training and been in and out of.
Apparently,
You know what's really interesting?
Hold on, Anime Night. What's up? Hang on, David.
With
what Anime Night?
Well, an unusual amount of circumstances happened. Snow White is now at a 1.5 star rating.
Nice.
Lower than Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh wow,
that's a huge crash.
I'm like, on IMBD, and I'm like, I beg pardon. That is hilarious. I'm just like looking, and it coincides with like, because you guys know I'm in the theater industry, so let's get that out in the open.
Yeah.
Legally, I'm allowed to disclose a few certain things, but skirting the laws here. The numbers weren't good. They were not good. And we have we have 8 theaters. I want to say our highest one has 149 seats. We had a Snow White showing the one day. Only 74 people showed up out of 149. That was the highest I see throughout this whole run of Snow White. And the lowest I've seen was 6.
I've heard that people, I've heard they've started pulling it from theaters.
They might do it with ours, but we don't know. But then again, things can go either way because actually, I also heard they're starting to pull the Superman posters down, like the trailer posters and everything.
Really?
Sorry, movie posters. My bad. Because I forget where it's happening, but there are certain ones in certain states that are pulling it because they know Superman's gonna bomb. But Superman's not even out yet. It's
right.
not even out. I mean, you could make the same argument with Snow White, but that was way too obvious. That was way too obvious, given all the baggage and everything. We all know it was gonna flop. We all knew. With Superman, it's different because we really do not know how it's gonna go. We really do not. Also, hello there. Anyway, that aside,
That's cool. David, what were you about to say?
Go ahead, David. All you.
I was glitched. It's not. I couldn't hear you. Sorry.
It's all right. What were you gonna say?
I didn't hear what he said. Hold
on.
I was just going to ask if he was talking about Superman being pulled, or because I glitched and I heard man. Is it Superman being pulled, or
it's just this. There's a few theaters in the country right now who are pulling down the movie posters for Superman. It's the actual theaters themselves. It's not like the usual suspects. It's like literally the theater itself. And they're like, oh, it's gonna bomb, and it's just gonna bomb. It's gonna flop. But that's not
a lot
the
of
case.
theater owners get previews, right? Preview showings. They go to special showings.
I don't know. That's interesting.
Like, give it a fair chance here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I mean,
weird.
they threw Snow White in our faces, so.
Well, here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand, and quite frankly, I don't know who to blame here, but Rachel Zegler was set up to fail. They knew what a difficult diva she was. They wanted to distract from certain issues with Gal Gadot, So they threw Rachel. So they let Rachel Zegler talk, and Gal Gadot just stand there and nod, and because Gal Gadot had previously come out and said a statement on October 7th about the hostages, and since then she's been told to say nothing, and she did. Now Rachel Zegler was always put front and center to take the heat off Gal Gadot because of the boycott Israel product movement, right? Now, the boycott Israel product movement is claiming responsibility for some of the theater boycotts of Snow White. So, yay, all your diversity. If you don't make a product that's Islamic, they're not going to go see it. So, why do you think the diversity is going to be anything but a failure? Disney is so fucking short-sighted and stupid. They, again, a lot of this DEI stuff, particularly in Snow White, came from their Chinese investors.
Mm-hmm. And also,
not Rachel Zegler. She's not responsible for the content.
And also Peter Dinklage getting a massive ego trip.
Yeah, he got the dwarves banned from the movie. Like, what the F? How can that happen?
Yet there's that one chick, I think it was yes, it's the very she's a sweet actress, and she's the same height as Peter Dinklage. I cannot remember her name.
Yeah.
But a very sweet woman from what I've heard.
You know
where
bold
was Peter Dinklage?
Move
He didn't complain.
You know what an amazing bold move with Disney would have been? To make the movie with a female dwarf as the lead and fired Rachel Zegler, but then it turned out when the controversy started, they had already finished the movie.
Yep, there went that. Rachel did her shtick and everything.
They filmed all her scenes. And the thing is, they didn't cut any of the dwarves out. Is that they never intended to put any in the first place. This was going to be Disney's first foray into digital movies. But because of all the bullshit that happened in the start, we kept getting fed different lines. Peter Dinklage, piece of shit that nobody should listen to, okay? He's a jealous, petty little man who thought that he was king of the world because of Game of Thrones. He was just trying to shoehorn his way into another movie, using diversity and equity and all this other stuff. And it's going to end poorly for them because they just cannot, for the life of them, just say, you're fired. Because they don't want because they end up in endless lawsuits because La La Land in California and all the La La Land laws in California. Now, I don't know how much Disney has lost here, but there is estimates of around $320 million, which is not much compared to their revenue. I think their park revenue is sitting around $4.5 billion or something.
I don't know.
But Disney Studios are $1 billion loss. And that is basically because it's not one movie, okay? It's a lot of things that are losing money. And they're also producing less, which means they have less revenue income. But Disney's revenue in parks and other entertainment is up. So what Disney have done is restructured the company and buried Disney Studios at the bottom of their entertainment list. So all the park goers, theme rides, I think cruise ships and Disney's investments in other entertainment streams are all subsidizing their movies. And basically, they're trying to use movies merely as a means to sell toys I don't see anybody rushing out to get a Rachel Snow White doll.
Yeah, I don't see it either. They are just they're just waiting. And meanwhile
Because
the
they
other
lost they lost an opportunity of $500 million in toy sales from that movie bombing.
Well, there's been a lot of really funny memes coming out of that Snow White movie. A lot of derpa memes because
There's a
apparently
weird scene in the movie where she makes a weird face and people have caught it. And
yeah,
it's just going wild. How derp she looks. Well,
pretty
not
funny.
derp. Anime. It's a hentai face.
Let's see. I'm looking up Snow White now.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But there's also the
IMDb's got it at 1.5. Rotten Tomatoes is 41, and Metacritic is 50%.
Yeah. Because Metacritic is no. Yeah.
So far, the box office has made 96 million.
Yeah. It's supposed to be 100 million weekend, not 100 million week.
Jeez. How long? Wait,
by the way,
It's been out since the 21st.
Yeah.
So,
and
oh
here
my
we
gosh.
are. 7 days later, here we are.
Yeah,
Haven't
it's
even
supposed to
crossed
be
the 100 million
100 million
mark.
weekend. Now
That's
it's just
insane, dude.
There are
That's
bombs
insane.
out there that are saying, geez, we're no longer worse. We're no longer the bottom.
It's got a budget of 209 million, so I mean, they're not even halfway yet.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Don't forget the theater cut, the taxes.
Yeah.
They actually got to make more than double back because reshoots,
Jeez.
remarketing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
By the way, last I heard about Minecraft, since we're having
news.
it.
What's up? Breaking news.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Which is it? Columbia's University. It's Columbia University. President's stepped down after an argument with Trump.
Nice.
So he just went to Trump, started an argument, gets smacked, and then it's like, I quit.
And somehow the media thinks this is bad for Trump. No, bro, this is a win column.
It's hard to tell, man. This day and age, everybody's looking for something. And
Well, they just can't let the Signal scandal go, which is like weird, bro. The reporter still refuses to prove that he was invited to the call.
Yeah.
How did he know about the call? He turned on Signal, saw the call on his stream, and tapped it. Okay.
Real quick. This whole thing about Signal. I've heard that there was a leak with Pete Hegseth. Apparently. Apparently, he accidentally leaked something to a journalist.
Yeah, he was on a Signal call, and a journalist managed to join the Signal call and nobody noticed that
he didn't leak it. An operative, a Biden holdover, is the one who sent it to him. I forget the guy's name. He's got Chinese communist connections and everything.
Okay.
Hegseth got the blame because that's the narrative. It's all
But Hegseth found out that a staffer leaked it was the one who sent the invite.
Right.
Yeah.
But Signal's been hacked by every intelligence organization on the country. It's why Biden wanted people to use it so they could spy on everyone when they were talking.
Okay.
So it's approved by the NSA, which means they know how to get into it, and so does everyone else.
Which means, anything
they know how to do
NSA
MI6 knows.
Routed.
If MI6 knows, right? If MI6 knows, so does Israeli intelligence. If Israeli intelligence knows, so does the Islamic intelligence, and then the Russians, Turkish intelligence, and then the Chinese.
Well, basically, the list of sharing goes down. The list of sharing of data is very basically might as well be everybody but us.
Right, but nothing classified was, and that's the thing too in the narrative. It was top secret, then it was classified, then it was sensitive, is what the Democrats were complaining about because they kept getting pushback.
It was downgraded because the operation was about to launch, and everybody was given the usual notice that final recall notice, basically. This
Yeah.
operation's going ahead. Any final recalls? No. Okay, past this point, it cannot be recalled.
Yeah, it's
Oh, okay.
they get their bots out there and they gaslight them and they go around like good little monkeys and bang their cymbals together. And
But the reporter has no screenshots to share.
correct.
He was being called
And
out
he's
by
been-
his own side. His
he's
own
been
side
known-
wanted
yeah.
him to show it so they could
Yeah.
run it on the next day on New Year's
He's
Eve.
been known to make stuff up for years.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. I was just curious.
Yeah.
But it was
When you
just a
see
notification
everyone
of
saying the
operation.
same thing
Hmm.
at the same time, just know it's an operation.
Oh,
Just
I
expect-
figured it was
yeah.
something. I figured it was something because there were so many people talking about it. There's so many people demanding that he resign and step down, and it was like, wait a minute, what happened?
Yep.
And the big question is, and which is why there was an investigation, is because they knew it was happening before the signal calls. That meant somebody had alerted the reporter, Goldberg, isn't it?
Yeah. Goldberg.
Yeah, Goldberg, notorious, basically anti-American, anti-Trump.
Gotcha.
He was alerted, and it turned out to be one of Pete Hegseth's holdovers. This is why, in the past,
Biden
this is what
holdover.
I hate about Republicans. Every time Democrats get in office, they fire everybody and start again, unless they know them. Whereas Republicans get in, they leave everybody because they want to capitalize on the experience.
Apparently, Elon Musk will be holding a town hall in Green Bay, Wisconsin on Sunday at 6:30. Entrance is limited to those who have signed the petition and oppose to activist judges. It'll be live streamed on X. So that'll be 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. Breaking Trump admin has ended the Biden policy of not allowing ICE and law enforcement. Let's see, what does this say? Law enforcement to search the criminal backgrounds of individuals or groups sponsoring migrant children smuggling into country by Democrat-controlled NGOs.
Yeah.
Huh.
Always going to protect the scumbags.
Yep. Well, it's just showing that Biden that Oh, hello.
Hello.
What you doing? Hold on just a second, guys.
Yeah. You know, they're still talking about Game of Thrones spin-offs, and it's like, bro, just let it die. How many have they failed to launch now? Pop
Yeah,
culture's in such a death
Assassin's
spiral right
Creed
now.
is just like, yeah, Assassin's Creed is going in the crapper.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the one game. It's the
Code.
one. I'm skipping this game. I've been having so much fun with RoboCop Rogue City and everything.
I want to play that.
Oh,
RoboCop,
Seth, you will love it.
Yeah, I
It's a
definitely wanna
beautiful
play
it's a beautiful love story. It's a beautiful love letter to the RoboCop series, and it's a movie adaptation done right. It takes
Good.
everything that made RoboCop great and
Good.
put it's all there.
It's a love story between a man and his gun.
And we don't want to know what he does with it. Oh, by the way, I must warn you, Seth. The DLC shotgun's trash. I got rid, but the skin is worth like the skin's worth getting because it's actually pretty cool because it is from the movie. But that aside, I got the Deagle, and that thing is overpowered. I practically did so much damage.
Yeah.
To the biker,
Hey, you know
to the
what?
biker gang with it in that game.
You know, somebody put that in Postal 2. The burst fire from RoboCop's gun into Postal 2.
Yep.
And they apparently they're going to put RoboCop. Somebody apparently working on a mod, I think, to put RoboCop in Postal 2. That'd be good playing Postal 2 as RoboCop.
Hey, there's been some news on vaccine injury news, It
Yeah.
broke with Kennedy announcing the CDC is creating a new sub-agency focused entirely on vaccine injuries, a long overdue shift for patients who spent years searching for answers without any support from the government. So, Stork Speed, apparently we've launched to have good, nutritious baby formula. They've been working on making that readily available. Hello. Sorry, my kids just got home. They're Mimi and Papa's, and me and my wife went to go see we went and saw The Chosen. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that show.
Good.
No. It's a story of Jesus. It's 100% crowdfunded, and with the last few seasons, they've been able to air it on the big screen. They use Fathom Events.
You're talking about The Chosen one, right?
Yeah.
We have that playing at our theater, and I probably had, I want to say 20 people. Like a good amount of people.
Yeah, because it's really cool. I've seen the last 3 seasons in theaters. It's really neat to see, and it's so much better than watching it on TV. Because
there's another Christian film coming out called King of Kings. It looks good.
Yeah, I think it's the same. I think it's the same production company as The Chosen. They've been getting into doing films and stuff, and they're really dedicating their time to this show called The Chosen, and it's all about the life of Jesus.
I know one.
What?
Oh my God! Imagine if they did Passion of the Christ in animation form. Holy crap! You could do so much with that.
Well, they're doing this show is going to reach that point of the Passion where Jesus was beaten and stuff. It'll be in season 8, 7 or 8. We don't know yet.
Ooh.
But they're in the story of Jesus. They're this season that they're in right now is season 5, and they're just getting into Palm Sunday where Jesus rides in on the donkey. It was really good.
So Palm Sunday, then we're moving towards the pinnacle of the Last Supper. We're almost so that I think that will be season 6 or 7, give or take.
I think well, the Last Supper supposedly during this season. I think he'll be arrested at the end of the season.
So
And then
we're going to season 6 after that.
They've already laid out plans for 8 seasons, and they're going to tell the story, the whole, by like different chapters.
Well, let's hope it still remains cohesive, because that's what we like, is a cohesive story.
I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It has stayed biblical yet entertaining. They've obviously been very open with, hey, we're here to tell a good story. We're here to tell it, as truthful as we can, but we're gonna add some things, but it'll be
so
it will not take away from the biblical story. It'll add and create more. So
in English, they took some liberties, but are doing it in a way where it's not disrespectful.
Yeah, and it will not disrupt the story of it. It's all
that's smart.
That's
smart, actually. That's actually smart. Yeah. I wish more films did that. I wish more directors did that. Like, it's okay to take liberties here and there, but just keep the story good and the message good, and that's all we ask.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of people say they don't find if a story's added to, it's when they take something away.
Yes.
If you're taking if you're adapting a story and you take away somebody else's adaptations, that's different. I'm talking about if you're adapting if you have a story and you read it front to back and adapt it to a movie and add a bit to it, that's fine. The next guy does it and takes away your adaptation, That's fine. It's when they go back and retcon something in the story. And that seems to be the message that's failing Hollywood. And it's particularly when they change characters. I've noticed it's when they change characters. Go back to Assassin's Creed. The original character was a Japanese samurai, a famous Japanese samurai. And that's what got people originally interested in that story. But no, the conflict between the samurai and the ninja and the assassinations that went on in that period would have made for a great Assassin's Creed series of stories. Instead, they wanted the loudest in the room because, remember, folks, most of pop culture is not driven by logic, but ego. It's emotion. These people want to be the loudest, thinking that loud always seems to translate to I get the most. You know, you look at the past, you look at some of the rock groups, and
Hey, I'm
yes,
gonna go grab a
lot
drink. I'll be right back.
all right. You look at Rolling Stones, all the controversies, they shot to number one. And since then, everybody's used the loudest in the room as a form of marketing to silence others. Whether it's Assassin's Creed or Snow White, we're seeing a culture shift away from people looking at the loudest in the room and wanting to see what's behind them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and that's, well, I think some of it's on purpose. I think some of the stuff Disney's doing is to lose money on purpose. That's what the people who are in charge are trying to do. But yeah, they're trying to force us to change, and we're the bad people for not changing, right?
Yeah, we have to change. We have to subsidize them. They can become billionaires even when movies fail because they can pay themselves lots of money. They go into debt and we top it up. I get that part. Plus, they want less money to go back to investors. Somebody, you know what I mean? You know, we do all the work. We should get all the profit mentality, you know? The product belongs to the producers, not the bosses. Yeah, there's a lot of California mentality in Disney. You're absolutely right. It is deliberate. Because a lot of these movies wouldn't lose so much money if the government stepped in and says, no, you can't pay yourself $100 million if the movie bombs. You know what I mean? You got to cut those wages. Cut the expenses. And Elon Musk is talking about the waste in Hollywood? Where you look at some of these movie expenses when they're publicized, like $15,000 for coffee cups. It all adds up. Craft services, meals they do 4-hour shoots, so just so they can get free meals, but they drag out the shoots. You know that normally, a 5-minute scene dragged out for 1 hour, and they do only a few per day, but they get free meals, so they drag out production.
The power of the food, my friends. The power of the food.
No, it's the power of state law. They pass these laws, and then the community says, right, we'll make shooting 1 hour a day, but then they have to do reshoots, and staff drag their heels, so they go overtime and get overtime payment and free meals. It's the corruption. And when you have that level of systemic corruption so high, and again, Hollywood thought they could use this in California because nobody could start a studio against them, because the laws are too complicated. You'd have to have so much investment, and you have to be willing to put up with all the bullshit. Again, it's all deliberate, to try and create a monopoly. And I think a lot of these movies are in a race to the bottom simply to basically, again, keep outsiders, This is our industry. You know what I mean?
Well, and the problem with Races to the Bottom is when everyone hits it, right? They have a bottomless pit with BlackRock and others, but this was Atari and Commodore's problem, right?
Yeah,
they were in a race.
BlackRock can no longer write off so much money because it's
it's too much, and we're saying, hey, you can't keep creating fiat currency to cover your debts. The Commodore, and this was Jack Tramiel he struck gold with the Commodore 64, and he didn't with anything else after that, and that was the perfect combination of price and performance and everything, right? As far as his big success.
It was a market void at the time,
right? Because Apple was charging way too much for the Apple II, and they were very slow to upgrade to 64. They were trying to do the Apple III and all that other crap.
Yeah.
The 128 had mild success, but Commodore and Amiga could have had something. They could have really created something.
Compatibility, but they
But Tramiel changed groups. He started the Amiga one way, and then the Atari ST, because he left Commodore, went and bought Atari. But they were in a race to the bottom, and you couldn't make a $500 computer
with
be like a Mac.
$1,000 of accessories,
right? Especially color, right? So, had they not been trying to outdo one another downward, they weren't like, hey, our machine's now twice as fast as the Commodore, and the Commodore answers back the next year, and now we're faster than the Atari. They weren't going the other way where the R&D gets paid. And those machines, people don't like the word trickle down, although trickle down was used to describe, a Democrat used to describe supply side economics.
Yeah.
But the idea, those innovations, this is what we see in the market, though, right? Is a new graphics card comes out, it's $2,000. Especially, let's say it's consumer oriented, right? If it's one of these for mining, it's probably $10,000. The consumers will never see it. But the technology involved with creating that gets cheaper over time, and so 5-7 years later, your $200 graphics card is that $2,000 graphics card, right? For all intents and purposes. Or maybe the $200 version has less memory, but then the $400 version is the full card, right? But now it was this big, and now it's this big. It used to pull 75 watts, and now it pulls 45 watts.
Yeah, anything over 35 is starting to produce heat, so that uses double fans, so they make it 75 because and they try to keep it under 100, and so there's a lot more time that goes into R&D now than it used to, and so
but when you're racing to the bottom, you're cutting so many corners.
Product,
and the cheapest product is created by innovating the expensive product, not cutting.
What are we talking about?
The way
the fall of Western civilization and the destruction of men
through the through the race to the bottom, because we want to create the cheapest product, not the best product.
And how we're going to get all overrun by the moose lambs.
Oh yeah,
well, that's already happened in Europe. Import the third world, become the third world. I don't. Man, something I hate is not agreeing with me. Just so you know.
But going back to the Commodore 64 again, you look at the competition. It was the VIC-20 or the Apple II, or
you had the Apple II Plus.
PC,
you had the Atari 400 and 800.
Yeah, there was no PlayStation. There was no Nintendo.
Well, you had
there were Nintendo handhelds, but they weren't that big a competition.
You had Timex Sinclair had something. You had the Z in the England.
Yeah, because Sinclair was already going bankrupt. The R&D was way over budget.
BBC Micro, and it was a great combination of things at the time.
Do any of you guys have any knowledge of a 3D printer?
No.
Okay. I have a 3D printer now, and I don't know how to use it.
Oh, there's some software you're supposed to, and it like takes some kind of CAD thing, and then
I've been downloading files since I got it, and I ordered a big box of filament
Yeah,
And,
STL files.
Yeah, the STL files. I got those.
Yeah.
I've just been kind of waiting. Like I can't wait to get this thing and start like doing cool stuff with it. But yeah, I have no knowledge of how to use it. So
I thought there was like a thing you could download was like some stupid little doll that was like a test to make sure it was working.
Test doll. Yeah,
I don't know.
depends on your software. But
Test
most
fig-
software
test
comes
figure.
with a test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have anything but the 3D printer. Like
You don't
there
have
was
its software. Go to its site.
Oh, did it fall off a truck?
No. Gift.
Sure.
I think David, you know the story about it.
I know the story. It's
Okay.
I will just tell people it's a gift.
Yeah. Hang on, David or Late, check the private chat.
Yeah.
All right. My time is all messed up. It's after 10.
But I would look up the brand of your 3D printer and find the 3D printer software. There is some generic stuff, and there's quite a lot of tutorials on YouTube.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So I ended up with that, and I've got this Oculus that I've finally got. It's the Oculus version 2, like it's the older one, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It only has made me sick like once. Last Sunday morning, I was playing with it online, and I about threw up. I got on a roller coaster ride and was just like, bleh. I immediately had to pull it off and go to the bathroom. But well, anything else we want to talk about? I mean, I don't really know too much of what's going on, and I'm so far out of the loop. I feel so bad about doing these podcasts now that I don't know anything, and I haven't been able to keep up with current events. I used to be able to know what was going on. Now I'm just kind of like, okay. It sucks.
King Charles is meeting with Trump, and that one of the discussions is America and the Commonwealth. And the British Commonwealth of Nations, 56 nations, is actually unique in the fact that while it started as an organization of former British colonies, it's actually expanded a little bit. And part of the problem is that, and it would have to take British Parliament and American Congress to do it. But if you join the Commonwealth, it would create the ability to have a free trade agreement with the UK. And if you're more inclined, it would turn. If you're so inclined, you would say, "Hey, wait a minute! It sounds like 1984," and eventually the UK becomes a state of America. In other news, Europe has derailed the peace process. Zelensky and Europe has derailed the peace process in Ukraine. Ukraine has attacked Russian energy infrastructures, and Europe doesn't want to abide by the agreement between Russia, US, and Ukraine for a partial ceasefire in return for resumption of normal shipping in the Black Sea. Because Europe wants to maintain its so-called high pressure on the Russian economy and sanction all their ships. So everybody is talking past each other, and Europe seems to think that they can achieve a military success in Ukraine against Russia, despite the fact that Russia has taken another town and pushed back the Ukrainians yet again. It's like, and Hungary's come out with a statement saying, "Hey, Europe, if you go to war with Russia, you'll lose unless you have US backing." And apparently there's a meeting today in the EU called the Coalition of Winning to put 30,000 troops into Ukraine. And they're claiming it's peacekeeping. It's like, that's provocation. And then again,
I'll be right back.
All right, man. So, does anybody know who Lily Phillips is?
Lily Phillips, that lady.
OnlyFans girl that's trying to break this record of like sleeping with a whole bunch of dudes.
She got pregnant, didn't she?
I don't know, but she's disgusting. And all these dudes like are in all of her videos, like they're all excited because they've got a number and they're like number 50 and number whatever, and it's like
She's trying to
bro,
break
that's
the world
disgusting.
record for she gets naked for OnlyFans stunts. Yeah, I heard about her. She got apparently
Yeah.
she got pregnant. That's not true, she says. So she's like made so much. She's basically made money by being the loudest 304 in the room.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for the censor. That was a good one.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, here's the thing I found out. You may not be able to say 304 in its true form on YouTube, but you can say the RE word.
Yeah.
Which is weird, right? You can call somebody a retard, but you can't call them a 304. It's really weird.
It was 50 men in the back door.
She had she's trying for 101 and it's like, yeah.
Jeez.
Look, if you're watching somebody online getting pummeled, you're a cuck.
Yeah, dude, that's gross.
You're paying somebody for some. There are, how much did somebody say? There are 10,000 free videos a month released because copyright is expiring on so much 70s and 80s porn was produced and their copyright is expiring. And there are companies that basically release this stuff for free online and make their money up through advertising or load. And basically, there's so much free porn now that you don't need to make porn ever again. Yet people are paying $50 a month to watch this trash burger basically trash her body, because I know there are people hate watching and wanting to see her inevitable collapse, because it takes its toll on the body. Physical damage. The veins swell, nerves get more and more desensitized, and they start producing random sensations. The amount of side effects that people who engage in excessive sex go through, the pain for life. Some people can't walk again. You're literally legless. No, bro, there's a lot of issues that that's why so many porn stars don't even last 6 weeks.
Yeah. It's gross.
But hey, guess what? OnlyFans may bring in a lot of money, but the vast majority but it's not spread out evenly. So the vast majority make less than $1,000 a month. Most of them are desperate people from poor countries. And look, I'm not exactly of the mind to say ban this stuff. I just think there should be a full disclosure, so people going in know what the side effects are on top. There's no full disclosure, and I think people paying so much money for porn, why don't you support other people? I'm not against it. I'm just saying you shouldn't be paying so much money for it.
Yeah, have you guys seen the incredible uptick in Tesla vandalism?
Yeah, what a coincidence. The very thing, they keep calling people the N-word, right?
Yeah.
They keep calling people the N-word. But if you knew anything about the N-word, you would go, wait a minute, didn't the nasties attack and vandalize businesses of people they don't like?
Yep. Yep.
And they say, but guess what their justification is?
What?
Elon Musk isn't Jewish. Well, guess
Dude,
what?
It's crazy.
And
it's
guess
crazy.
what? The Nazis didn't only attack Jews. They also attacked Protestants. They also attacked Catholics, members of the Freemasons. They attacked 6 other groups. They also attacked gays who own businesses. Don't forget the nasties attacked gay-owned businesses and gay nightclubs. They torched gay nightclubs.
Dang. No, I've just been seeing a whole bunch lately of people keying Teslas and people doing this and people doing that.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, dude, somebody posted a video where they got out, pulled their pants down, and was wiping their butt all across the Tesla while they didn't put their car in park, and it was just rolling away. Ridiculous. But
They got the Tesla firebomber.
oh, they did.
Yeah.
What happened with that?
Harrison Grant Randall, accused of vandalizing several Tesla vehicles in the Boston suburb of Brookline, appeared in court on Thursday. 39-year-old Harrison Grant Randall of Rossendale tagged the electric cars with Elon Musk stickers in Massachusetts. There's also an arrest in Vancouver. Lucy Grace Nelson was arrested for vandalizing. There was also several women arrested for keying Tesla cars.
Yeah.
There was one caught in the act. But Tesla vandals in the UK face up to 20 years in prison.
Dang.
They've arrested an organised group of vandals. And there's now talking, NPR is talking whether or not, I forget which state it is, but apparently, Colorado. Colorado's talking about having them charged as an organised group as domestic terrorism. Colorado, blue state, it's going to throw you in jail for domestic terrorism. Winning! It's just like California, isn't it? Them blue states only stay in power when they act like Republicans.
Yep. Yep. It's crazy. There's just it's a lot going on right now, man. Tesla's I don't see where I don't see why that. I mean, obviously they hate him because the media is saying that he's so bad, but geez.
And the thing is, they're replacing. Europe's trying to replace Teslas with Chinese cars. And it's like, bro, it's like you race to the bottom, isn't it?
Here's somebody that's like pulling up beside a Tesla and they're being like road rage and screaming at him. This guy's, hang on, let me just play the video. Let's see. Ooh, there's a new feature.
Liberalism is a mental illness.
All right. I guess there's no video or audio because I don't hear it. But I mean, this dude's just crazy. It's mental.
It is a mental illness. They are so obsessed.
I think a warning shot to the tire would really scare these people.
Well,
they're mentally damaged.
Pointing at.
They're mentally damaged.
Oh! I was hoping he would crash. That would have
been funny.
Now, look, I don't wish harm on people, but that was going to be justified.
The only problem is he's going to hurt somebody. He's going to hurt somebody else.
Is the car a Tesla?
Yeah, it looks like a Cybertruck.
This is actually a crime.
Yeah, I would have been on the.
This comes under stalking.
Dial 911.
And intimidating another.
I would have dialed 911 long before he got that far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, this is why liberals got rid of self-defense laws. So you can't defend yourself against these mongrels. They're the bullies. In a normal, sane society 100 years ago, somebody pulls up on you and starts trying to ram you, you would basically say, meet my little friend, and put one through the side window.
Moments later, they return and quickly start keying the passenger door.
And look, they're filming it for TikTok views.
You can tell in the video, too. Like, they're actively starting to record, and they're recording the whole thing. You can easily tell this is a targeted, like, there's intent there. And they, kind of a mockery of it, right? With all the recording.
Seconds later, the vandal runs off. The owners, who asked to remain anonymous, notice the damage about a half hour later and say since then they have felt unsettled and somewhat fearful.
That's crazy.
This is the very mental illness that led rise of the Nazi Party, you freaking morons. You are the Nazis. You are the nasties, okay? You are everything you Look, you could go back to the 1920s and see for yourself. The history books used to actually reflect this. The rise in attacks and vandalism and the attacks on the political opponents.
Let's listen to this magical musical gem.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Dr. Fauci, give us vaccines. Help all the people who have been quarantined. We'll wear our masks and we'll have to stay distant.
That is a broken man.
Our hands and we'll be more
This is do something for attention.
Yes.
He's a broken man. He really means it.
Yeah.
We have a cure that can fight off this disease. Restrictions will lift with some ease. Dr. Fauci, don't forget me.
I mean, he's up there, no mask. He doesn't need to be wearing a mask, right? He's just.
But this is the problem. They are just so
But he's broken.
indoctrinated. Yeah,
What in the
Captured.
world?
That's a slave.
Orwell said it. They
That
have
is a
no
mental
ability
slave.
to think. Yeah, mental slave, exactly. They're so indoctrinated, they're mental slaves.
And the thing about it is, they're not. They're so broken mentally.
yeah.
They build the prison themselves. They're not
Yeah.
pushed into it. They build it themselves.
Yeah,
They put
psychological
the shackles on their own
manipulation, though.
ankles.
Yeah, the shackles, they were manipulated, but they put the shackles on, and they, no matter how much you prove them wrong, they cannot cognitively comprehend.
Here's another one. Just graffitiing a cyber truck.
Yeah. And the thing is, there are smug school teachers right now clapping at the product that they have, the mental disease.
Oh,
that
dude.
They have indoctrinated
So
people into.
I was in Charlottesville. No, I'm sorry. I was in Richmond, Virginia, last week. And there was a sign that said, on the front of it was a issued sign from the police department. This is this area is a weapon-free zone. Anyone with a weapon and or ammunition combined will face maximum penalties. Yada 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 yada. But on the back of the sign was graffitied, KILL Elon.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. So that's just what we do now.
That's why they want to take your right to defend yourself, so they can do anything to you and not suffer any consequences or backlash. They have all the freedom. They have the freedom to be evil. They have the freedom to oppress you. They have the freedom to RAPE if they wanted to. They could come into your home and do as they please. But the moment you call them the N-word or fight back or put one down, you're the bad guy. They want all the freedom. And they want to have the control over your life cradle to grave.
Yep.
You're retiring? No, we put you to death because we don't need you anymore. That's it. Liberalism is a mental disease, and yet people time and time again won't wake up to that fact because they want the safety that liberal promises them. Oh, they're going to take care of us. Oh, they wouldn't betray the working class. Look around you.
Hey, so one funny thing, about a week or so ago, I found out that Rosie O'Donnell's moving to Ireland for
Sorry, Alan,
you
we're
guys
not taking
hear?
it back.
Did you guys hear that they will not let her stay?
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
they are making her leave.
Oh wow, that's hilarious. But I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I have money.
No.
I fund you people.
No. according to E, she made the correct decision. She revealed she'd apparently been on an island for 3 months. She'd been yes. Apparently, though, she has not got permanent residency.
Yep.
Yet. And she may have to leave.
They've already said that the government will not allow her to stay.
She has plans to get Irish citizenship, but she moved there before obtaining it.
Oh, and they're not going to let her stay? That's so cruel.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's the wrong... Yeah, but if it was a brown person, they would give it to her. Sucks, Rosie, to be you. You're a victim of your own freaking politics. Yeah, she plans to. Yeah, she had not filled in or filed for Irish citizenship, so it's she has to leave within 3 months or go through the proper channels to obtain Irish citizenship. But if she doesn't in the next 3 months, they will force her to leave.
Who's the chick that's calling Governor Abbott Governor Hot Wheels?
That's something Crockett.
Jasmine.
Dumbass Crockett is a Democrat, well known for hiding behind her skin color while she hurls insults at others. But
she also assaulted a staffer. And now
typical Democrat.
Which one was it? I can't remember. I think Elijah Cummings? No, not Elijah Cummings. No, Elijah Schaefer. Elijah Schaefer posted it that it was somebody that he knows. It was their staff that she assaulted walking
Democrat, out. Accused of assault over a Tesla attack caught on video. She'd been a reporter asked about a recent attack on a Tesla dealership. She lashed out at reporters and Pam Bondi. Apparently, she also carried on the conversation well afterwards. And apparently, when showing the video, she grabbed the phone off the staffer. Laura Loomer and others posted the video of her ripping the phone out of somebody's hand. She didn't. Apparently, Crockett denied that there was an attack when asked by reporters, and the staffer showed her the video of the attack, and she just lost it. But she's caught on camera. Yes, ethics complaint has been filed up against Texas representative.
Yeah,
for assault on a staffer. It was merely doing her job. Don't know if it was the staffer, which staffer it was, whether it was Pam Bondi's or Crockett's, but yeah, just basically showing her the attack, and she lost her shit on, which.
Oh man,
racist dude. Yeah, she's a racist.
Breaking news! This is big.
Yeah.
Diets are
the
racist.
Same diets as white women, we lose less weight and we lose it slower, even when we're following the diet than our white women counterparts. It's literally that the racism that you're experiencing and the struggle to make ends meet actually means the diet don't work for you the same. The same diets as white women.
What?
That video is at least a year old. I saw it at least a year ago, maybe longer.
So funny.
This is how mentally deranged people are because they cannot be called out because they're a protected class now. Trump should pass.
Well, you got to listen to parse her words carefully. The same diets as white women. Well, what would that be? Pumpkin spice lattes and Uggs?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? The white women aren't losing weight on those diets either.
No.
There's only a handful of diets that really work, and it doesn't matter who they are.
Yes. And people being told over and over again, it's not just, there are mistakes in what we eat, but if you're on a diet and you're still eating potato chips and all that sort of stuff, there are certain foods that block your ability to lose weight. And actually, it's not the potato chips, it's the vegetable oils.
Mm-hmm.
potato chips have to change the oil they use. But I think what was it? Wasn't it? What's his name? RFK actually was. Said we've got to bring back, the old diet, the old, get rid of the food chart.
Oh wow!
Do you know the food chart?
In Wokeness posted the sex offenders per million, and I feel like this is quite problematic.
Yeah.
Biological women, 3. Biological men, 395. Trans women, 1916. The data is transphobic.
Yep. This is their problem. They're so obsessed with equity and equality and that we're all born equal. No, sorry, we do not have the same. We do not have the same outcomes on the same test. We do not have the same height. We do not have the same brain capacities. Everybody is different. And it's about time America just basically said, shit, we've got to go through the Constitution and have a bit of a reshuffle and say, once and for all, we're a European nation and get rid of everybody else. Stop with the equality and equity. If you want to get rid of wokeness, you have to get rid of all the Democrat ideology from your life.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it's built into your Constitution. That's why they can keep taking you to court over and over again and browbeating you into submission. The vast majority don't want this stuff, but the vast majority keep submitting to this stuff. It's like crazy. It's an endless cycle of drama. It's almost as if people want the drama, not the outcome. And enforce every generation to suffer the same conflicts, which means you're not progressive at all. Because you have to progress, you have to actually reach a destination and not keep going in circles with the same arguments every generation.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've come to the end of our tonight because I'm about ready to fall asleep.
All right.
And I need to get set up for tomorrow. You guys about ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, it's a lot later than it was because Lape wouldn't get us started in time.
Well, hey.
12 minutes. We missed 12 minutes.
Gosh, Lape.
We're not making it up.
No.
Yeah, but we went a little longer.
We've gone 10 minutes late, so there's that.
So yeah.
Oh, real quick, I will not be here next weekend.
Okay.
I'll be at Game On Expo, so I just looked at my schedule, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that going. I have my Comic-Con budget plan already out and ready to go, so
yeah.
Plus I've been saving a bit more money, and I just got my tax return too, so
oh wow.
Yes, so I
just government hush money.
Yeah. Hopefully that 5K, I'm holding Trump to this. That 5K, man, we need that. That would be fantastic. So I can, because I probably won't go to cons during the remainder of the year. It depends on what happens. I want to plan a few trips.
That would be nice.
I want to plan a few out of state trips. Damn it.
Yeah. Tomorrow we'll be live Coffee and Gaming, and then we'll be back next Friday night live. So join us tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. right here on the channel. It'll be a good time. Buy David's book. Check out Lape's channel. He's got all kinds of beer stuff going down. Yeah. Anime Night goes live on Sundays, and here recently you've been going live a lot.
Hey, I gotta keep it going, and tomorrow's gonna be crazy, and Sunday's gonna be crazy, Monday's gonna be crazy, Tuesday's gonna be crazy. I'm keeping it going. But we'll see. We'll see because I got my first YouTube payment and I was so happy. I got that too, actually. So that actually helped out. Anything helps, guys. Get more word out there. I mean, we would love to have more people here. Want to see Seth be successful as us and David as well, and everybody that's our good friends. We need all the success we can get.
Yep. All right, guys.
Elon Musk, throw us some money.
Yeah. You guys have a great day. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good day, sir.
Later, dudes.
Good night, Jimbo.
Hell, I got to go.
Peace out.
Burn in hell, New World Order. Fuck you. Fuck you, New World Order. Fuck you, Bill Gates.
I love you. You gotta do better than that. I love you.